roasting China with an entire episode plot to an epic anime showdown. These are 10 episodes of Gumball that you, me, and even my friends in the army love so much. Starting with the kids, which is loved not just for the storyline, but for the true reason behind the episode. You see, instead of quietly changing Gumball and Darwin's voice actors and hoping that no one would notice, they actually made an episode about it and gave one heck of a send-off to the first voice actors to play Gumball and Darwin.
You're so old that if you had kids now, they'd be born middle-aged. Yeah, I mean, you're so old that's right!
No one stays young forever, you know.
The episode opens with Gumball and Darwin making fun of Richard and Nicole for being old and then deciding they would remain young forever. Not long after that, their voice starts getting deeper, and they soon start freaking out about getting old. But things take a turn when they decide to make the most out of what's left of their childhood days.
We enjoy it while we can, we enjoy it while we're kids, we enjoy it while there's still time to make the most of it.
Turns out Gumball and Darwin, making the most of what time they had left, was Logan Grove and Kwesi Boki making the best out of what time they had left on the show. They rapped and sang for us, and when the time was right, the switch happened.
What was that? Dude, what's going on? I sound even younger than before.
That's it. That means we're in the 1% of people who never grow old.
Yeah!
At this point, Jacob Hopkins starts voicing Gumball, and Terrell Ransom Jr. voices Darwin, while Logan and Kwesi sign out gracefully. And just before they glitch out, they said, "You should subscribe to my channel." That's right, if you're enjoying the content so far, please smash that like button and subscribe. Now, if this kind of episode is so low on the list, just imagine the more lovable ones to come. They are even sweeter than number 9 on our list, the shell. You see, instead of just slowly building Gumball and Penny's relationship over a bunch of random episodes, the writers of The Amazing World of Gumball went all in and gave us the shell, one of the most emotional and transformative episodes in the entire series. It all starts when Gumball accidentally cracks Penny's shell during the final scene of their school play, and soon she's no longer the antlered peanut we've always known.
Here we go. I'm gonna be myself. What the what?
You look...
Instead of embracing it, she panics and runs. Gumball chases after her not just to bring her back, but to finally say how he really feels.
This is how I feel.
And what starts off as a classic Gumball misadventure quickly turns into an emotional roller coaster. It's funny, it's heartfelt, and it's surprisingly deep for a show where a donut is a cop and the dad is, well, Richard.
She was a monster, but he made her beautiful with his love.
This episode was so loved, it won the BAFTA Award for Best Animation in the Children's Animation category.
The BAFTA for animation goes to The Amazing World of Gumball!
And 2 British Animation Awards for Best Children's Series and Children's Choice. And honestly, it was well-deserved because this episode didn't just push the boundaries of what Gumball could be, it proved the show could be goofy and meaningful all in one go. And another episode that did that perfectly was The Console. You see, instead of just parodying video games like most shows do, the writers went all in and turned this entire episode into a Japanese RPG. It all starts when Richard forgets Gumball's birthday and tries to make up for it with a sketchy knockoff console called the Game Child, which is obviously a bootleg Nintendo Game Boy from the Awesome Store. Gumball's disappointed until he boots up the game and the real world starts glitching into a 16-bit nightmare.
I've trapped us inside a video game. Awesome!
What follows is a hilarious, reference-packed journey across Elmore, with the Wattersons forced to fight their way out of the game world. If you're a gamer, this episode is literally a love letter to your childhood. From Final Fantasy references, to classic JRPG tropes, to retro graphics, turn-based combat, pixel art graphics, dramatic boss fights, even the name Inverted Paradox sounds like it belongs on a PlayStation 1 demo disc.
Oh, inverted paradox, the enemy within.
So the name actually meant something. Makes sense because we're playing the game in real life and the enemy is...
And just when you think it's wrapping up, the final boss absolutely wrecks them.
Wait, What happens in this game if we perish?
Guess we perish in the real world too! Or worse, we'll have to restart the whole game from the beginning.
Gumball calls in backup, summoning half of Elmore to help defeat the game child in one epic, over-the-top final battle. This episode didn't just parody video games, it became one. And in doing so, it reminded everyone why Gumball is so good at what it does. It can make you laugh, surprise you, and somehow still hit you with a wave of nostalgia, all in one 11-minute episode. And that's also what it did in The Fury. Even though Gumball was just a spectator in this episode, it's so lovable because of the epic anime showdown in the end, even more so the way the beginning built up to the ending.
Hello, Nicole. I've waited a long time for this.
The Shadow reveals herself as Yuki, Nicole's old friend, and challenges Nicole to a face-off, but Nicole declines and walks away. Things soon take a dark turn when Yuki wrecks Nicole's car, flirts with her husband, and even ruins her day of work with so much disturbance. Turns out, Nicole and Yuki have history, and now she wants her pound of flesh, whatever the cost. But damn, am I the only one that caught this Dragon Ball reference? Anyways, after Yuki threatens Nicole's job and house, Nicole finally agrees to fight Yuki, and that's when we get to see Nicole's anime final form. I remember having chills the first time I watched this fight scene. This battle was so beautifully animated and choreographed, I forgot I was watching The Amazing World of Gumball for a second. As if the episode wasn't lovable enough, we got this heartwarming ending.
I missed you.
The Fury proved that The Amazing World of Gumball could pull off a fantastic anime showdown, while the episode The Void, coming in at number 6, showed that the series wasn't afraid to get weird, existential, and even a little creepy. This Season 3 episode is where Gumball's meta-narrative really begins. It's the first time the show really cracks open the fourth wall and explores the idea of characters being actually deleted, not just forgotten. It gives us the Void, this glitchy, otherworldly dimension where rejected ideas, mistakes, and even people are sent to be erased from existence. And once you're in, nobody remembers you ever existed in the first place. It all kicks off when Gumball and Darwin realize they haven't seen Molly in a while, only to discover that she's been wiped from reality by this mysterious force. That's when Mr. Small steps in with his usual over-the-top energy and leads the boys into a full-blown supernatural investigation.
Are you sure you want to do this?
We have to. We can't forget about our friends.
Okay. On 3, 2, 1.
It's giving that Gravity Falls vibe, the mystery, the tension, the surreal visuals, but all filtered through Gumball's signature absurdity.
In your face, world!
Guys, wait! Do you realize what we've just seen? This changes everything.
But beyond the humor, this episode introduces a powerful concept that would shape future story arcs. The idea that this world is not just animated, but edited. Characters can be retconned, plots can be erased, and Gumball as a show is self-aware enough to lean into that unsettling truth. So the show pulled off something similar in the Copycats. The plot has Gumball and Darwin meet a suspiciously familiar pair, two siblings who copy everything they say and do. At first it's annoying, then it's creepy. Then Gumball finds out that this imitation family is making money off their act and it's game on.
Let them copy you at their own risk.
What makes this episode so interesting is the fact that it isn't just a funny episode about annoying doppelgangers. This episode was the show's way of directly calling out Miracle Star, an actual Chinese knockoff of The Amazing World of Gumball. And when you realize that, everything, from the goat-based character designs to the eerily familiar home setup, makes the episode even funnier. It's a roast disguised as a plot, and Gumball doesn't hold back. This is exactly the kind of layered humor that makes Gumball more than just a kids' show. And just like it did in The Kids, the show found a way to switch the voice actors from Jacob Hopkins and Terrell Ransom Jr. to Nicholas Cantu and Danielle T. Hansley Jr.
That'll teach them for trying to replace us.
Yeah, as if anyone else could do what I do. Yeah, we're irreplaceable.
This is meta humor at its peak. And then there's the countdown, coming in at number 4. It starts with Miss Simeon telling Gumball and Darwin they'll be expelled if they're late one more time. Pretty basic stuff. But then the boys oversleep, and that's when things get weird.
How long have we got?
Okay, thanks.
That one choice of having the characters see the timer and even play with it turns this from a typical race against the clock plot into something entirely Gumball. It's that self-awareness that makes the countdown such a standout. Much like the Copycats or The Void, this episode plays with the format of TV itself. The boys aren't just late, they're caught in a narrative device, and they know it. This ticking clock becomes both a literal and symbolic presence, raising the stakes while also mocking the trope. And while the tension builds, the episode still manages to pack in all the trademark Gumball absurdity. It's starting to seem like the most loved episodes are the ones that are meta. Well, my friend, you're in for a surprise because some of the amazing World of Gumball's most memorable episodes are the ones that focus on the Watterson family dynamic, and this two-part Darwin origin story is easily one of the most touching in the entire series. It all begins when the Wattersons finally reach their limit with Gumball's endless chaos. Desperate for a distraction, they get him a pet fish.
He hasn't moved for over 13 seconds.
And there's no alphabet soup on the ceiling.
At first, it works until Gumball keeps accidentally killing his new fish over and over again. Mr. Watterson ends up buying out the entire stock of the local pet store just to keep the illusion going. Eventually, he stumbles upon a strange fish from an even stranger vendor. That fish turns out to be Darwin. The first part of this story is packed with heartwarming and hilarious moments. There's something inherently sweet about the idea of a pet fish evolving into a brother without anyone questioning it. The way Darwin is slowly accepted into the family makes this episode shine. It also sets up the emotional gut punch that follows when Darwin is suddenly lost.
Maybe it's time to...
No! He'll need this when he comes back.
The second part picks up with Darwin's journey home. After being flushed down the toilet, he battles through unknown waters and impossible odds, even growing legs, all to reunite with his new family. It's a classic power of friendship arc, and it's done with just the right amount of sincerity and absurdity. There are a few things that don't quite add up, like the mysterious heart connection between Gumball and Darwin that never really gets explained, but it doesn't take away from how emotionally satisfying the story is. For longtime fans, especially those who always wondered about Darwin's backstory, these episodes delivered something genuinely special. This was the show's first true two-parter, and one of the rare cases where both parts are equally strong. The first part gives you the laughs and sets the emotional stakes, while the second delivers the payoff with a journey that's silly, sweet, and surprisingly moving. This is an episode of Gumball that's guaranteed to make you shed a tear, and so is the choices. This episode stands out as one of the most emotional and reflective episodes in the amazing world of Gumball. This time, the spotlight turns to Nicole, and instead of the usual chaos, the show dives into something much deeper: regret, choices, and the life that could have been.
That was the moment I asked myself, how did it come to this?
The episode begins with something simple. Nicole loses her temper during breakfast, but what follows is a journey through her memories as she reimagines the day she met Richard. Along the way, she wonders what her life might have looked like if she had made different decisions. Would she have had a more successful career? Would she have lived a more peaceful, controlled life? The show presents these alternate timelines in true Gumball fashion, but the core of it is very real. Unlike many shows that tackle what-if stories, The Choices doesn't preach or hand out a moral wrapped in cliches. Instead, it lets Nicole experience her doubts and frustrations fully. And yet, by the end of the episode, after all the fantasizing and emotional weight, she comes back to her reality. It's chaotic, imperfect, and unpredictable, but it's hers, and she loves it. She loves her kids, she loves her oddball husband, and...
I wouldn't change a thing.
This final scene just ties everything together. It's what Gumball does so well. It can make you think, make you feel, and then have you laughing 2 seconds later. This brings us to number 1 on our list, The Disaster and the Rerun. The Season 4 finale and Season 5 premiere mark one of the most ambitious and emotionally charged story arcs in the amazing world of Gumball. It's the culmination of everything the show had been building toward with its meta-storytelling, and it pulls it off with action, heart, and a surprising amount of existential weight. The disaster kicks things off with Rob finally stepping into the role of true antagonist. He gets his hands on a universal remote, one that doesn't just control TVs, but controls reality itself.
I am in control. And the time has come for you to pay.
And with this power, Rob begins to systematically dismantle Gumball's life. What starts off with Gumball being humiliated and isolated turns into a full-blown unraveling of the world around him. His friends turn on him, his parents split up, everything he knows is falling apart, and the worst part is, he's powerless to stop it.
I don't understand.
It doesn't matter. Once you're out of the picture, I can be whoever I want! I'm sorry, Gumball Watterson.
It's one of the most chaotic and intense episodes in the series, filled with clever uses of the remote and some genuinely dark implications about the fragility of their cartoon world. It ends on a dramatic cliffhanger with Gumball being flung into the void, leaving fans desperate to know what happens next. That's where the rerun picks up. Gumball manages to grab the universal remote and reverse his own destruction, rewinding to the beginning of the day. Now, he's the only one who remembers what happened, and he has one chance to stop Rob before it all goes wrong again.
Curse you.
Watch out!
I will destroy you and everyone you love!
This second half isn't as action-packed, but it leans heavily into the emotional core of the arc. There's humor, of course, like Richard and Nicole getting zapped into babies, but underneath the laughs, there's real tension. Rob's not just the villain here, he's a character who knows he's in a show. He knows he was pushed into being the antagonist because the narrative needed one, and he resents it. His anger is real, his pain is real, and in a strange, heartbreaking way, so is his bond with Gumball. In the end, Gumball wins, but it comes at a cost. The reset fixes the timeline, but it also locks Rob into his role as the eternal nemesis.
This is too dangerous.
Together, the disaster and the rerun form one of the strongest arcs in the entire series. It's smart, it's funny, it's emotional, and it fully embraces the meta nature of the show without losing sight of its characters. Honorable mention of episodes that didn't make it to this list: The Joy, The Game, The Job, The Money, Halloween, The Future, The Matchmaker, The DVD, The Bus, and The Subscriber. That's right, it's you, the subscriber, my most loved episode.